Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about trust. Why? Because you guys very often lose the trust of your reader and we can't have that happen. And you got to understand how you're doing it. What is it that you do that loses the trust of your reader? So, you guys understand the basic concept of trust. You also understand the basic concept of skepticism and cynicism, right? So, if you see this deal, right, you can get this car for only $12, you're going to be like, yeah, haha, but that's not real, right? I don't believe in that. I literally don't believe this. I couldn't possibly trust this. The stuff that you guys do is just as bad as this, alright? Like, selling a Tesla for $12. That's literally what you guys are trying to do. You, are writing essays to the college admissions people, being like, trust me, don't worry, this Tesla definitely costs $12. And they're just not buying it, right? Like, they're not gonna buy it. You would never buy this. You know for a fact that this is a scam. It's just a scam. So, we gotta know what this looks like in writing. Look at this thing. I used to be poor. It was really hard. It was a big struggle, and it made people in my family sad. It also made me sad. Yeah, definitely not, right? There's no chance anybody can believe that you were poor. Now, obviously, this is kind of a ridiculous lie because you're probably not poor. Alright, that's fine. But, look at the things that we do over here, right? There's this, distancing, right? People in my family, you didn't say mom or dad, just random people in your people in your family. It also made me sad. There's, too much show, don't tell, right? It's tell, don't show. We talk about show, don't tell all the time, but if you just tell somebody, and then I was sad, and it was sad to be sad, and it just made me so unhappy while I was sad, they're like, yeah, I don't believe that you were sad. There's no real emotion in there. I can't feel anything that you supposedly feel. I don't believe you were feeling that. You have to show it so that your readers will literally believe that it's there, right? So it's got so much tell, don't show. It's got this distancing. It's real weird, and it's just obviously a lie, right? You could read this and you could say, okay, this is definitely a lie. What about this? I have infinitely cherished the miraculous hours of plucking and bowing my violin, which have led me to develop stronger fine motor skills and become a more robust student of mathematics. Alright, this is just so try-hard. It's so try-hard, guys. Everybody can see through this. Couple of things, right? You're using these, insanely big words just kind of for no reason. Whoops. So, infinitely cherished, there's no reason to refer to it that way. The miraculous hours? No. Nobody is... Okay, first of all, when you're plucking and bowing your violin, if you actually play a violin, you know that those hours are not miraculous. That's not where the miracles happen. It doesn't happen in those hours of practice. So just nobody believes this. Even people who don't play the violin and don't know what it's like to practice violin don't believe this. Because these words are just out of place, right? A robust student of mathematics, fine motor skills, what are you even talking about? I know it seems out there, but you guys are going to do something very similar, and when you do, I'm going to laugh at you, out of politeness, and it's going to be fun. But you gotta get to that place where you can laugh at yourself about this stuff, because you have to stop doing it, right? So, lots of really big words here. It's obviously laying on intelligent sounding things to cover up the fact that you just basically have no idea what it's like to play a violin at all. If I read this, I would assume that you've never touched a violin or seen one in your entire life. Here it gets simpler though, right? I have really enjoyed, this is basically the same sentence, I've really deeply enjoyed the many hours and years I have spent playing the violin. It has notably increased my spatial reasoning, fine motor skills, and my math ability, and that has all benefited me greatly. Okay, well, obviously we kind of get into this, weirdness at the end, where it's yeah, nobody talks like that, right? Except for you guys when you're trying to write college essays, I promise. It seems insane, but I promise you're going to write like this, and I'm going to laugh at you. Remember, it's going to be fun, don't worry. Okay, I really deeply enjoyed, again, it's tell, don't show. You gotta show the feeling, you have to show the emotion, you've gotta show the attachment there. You're just talking about playing the violin, but at no point is there any story or moment, right? So you've got these moments of doing a thing. There's none of that. There's nothing visceral here. There's nothing that your reader can touch and feel and discover for themselves and understand. There's nothing. It's so distanced. It's so sterile. It's so far away. And we know for a fact, like, all this stuff, this just basically is like, it's like obvious bragging. It's not even subtle bragging. This is just basically trying to be like, yeah, because I played the violin, I'm like obviously good at everything. I'm good at math now. I'm good at, like, you know, fine motor skills. I'm good at spatial. I'm just good at everything. Like, obviously, it's like I've been so benefited. It's just so obvious, okay? I don't know if you guys think you're being subtle when you do this stuff, but I promise you, you're not being subtle. It's not subtle. This is not subtle. It's very, very obvious. Okay, what does it look like if we do it well? Here's an example. The quick pull of coarse hair across ridged steel sets my muscles at ease. I know this worn chin rest and the curve of the wood beneath. Nothing in the world is impossible when I hold pieces of the known in my grasp. That's, like, powerful. It's intense. Like, it shows that you care so much about violin, that the entire world is accomplishable, that the entire world belongs to you when you hold that bow and you hold that violin. That's what this is saying. That's what this last sentence says, right? This first stuff, it shows actual detail. It shows that you know something about a violin, right? You know that the bow is made out of hair. You know that the strings are made out of steel, okay? You know something. But there's also a moment here. We have this moment, this feeling. There's a quick pull of the bow across the strings. And it sets your muscles at ease. That says something about you. It says that when you interact with the violin, it means something to you. It impacts you physically. And when your reader reads this, their muscles are going to become at ease. One, because the words are not impossible to read, okay? There's not a whole lot of crazy words going on up in here. Impossible is maybe the longest word in here, and it's a very simple word, okay? But two, because it makes sense. It feels calming. We get it, right? We can feel this. I know this worn chin rest. This unintentionally reveals, or intentionally reveals, that you have played this particular violin for a very long time. You know this violin. You know this worn chin rest. Okay, so you're showing familiarity. You're showing it, not telling it. And that, again, it's like, okay, we get it, right? There's this connection there. Now we believe you. Before, we didn't believe you at all. Before, I didn't believe this. I don't believe you've ever seen a violin in your entire life. This, I do. This, I get it. One more example of something that's super bad. You guys will also do this kind of a lot, right? This comes up maybe, sometimes. Working at my lab over the summer was so inspiring because I knew that every tiny tube I filled, every sample I processed contributed to a greater purpose and helped to save the lives of so many. So many people were saved because of me. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. First of all, you don't even believe this yourself. All right. This is not a thing that you believe, and I can tell. And it's not a thing that your reader believes, okay? The person reading your essay doesn't believe this. There's no chance. Why? Because one, there's no detail, right? We talked about that. Two, so we talk about this cliche thing. This is so cliche, right? Contributing to a greater purpose is literally probably the most cliche phrasing ever in the history of ever. And saving the lives of people is the most cliche aspiration you can possibly have. But if you don't show that it is meaningful to you, if you can't actually show in any way that it means something to you, then it just comes up hollow. It just comes up as a thing that you're saying to check a box because you think that in order to get into college, you have to seem like you care about people, but you actually don't. This makes it seem like you don't care about anyone at all, except for yourself, and maybe also yourself, and that's it, okay? It seems very, very, like, just socially inept, okay? This is the thing we got to avoid. So, we're going to practice in this worksheet. Let's get to it.